Hi everybody, Rusty Albertson, Director of Communications at St. Mark the Evangelist Catholic Church, joined by a great friend, Steve Helmich. Steve, how are you?
Rusty, I'm terrific. How are you?
Oh, great. Well, we're always
very
busy time, and we are we're looking forward to hearing about the different activities that the MMA has coming up. What a vibrant, growing, beautiful ministry that you've helped create, and it continues on. So give us some updates and some things that's going to happen.
Well, you know, it's hard to believe. We were going back through some records. We're trying to create a history. I'm not a very good note taker, and we're trying to create some history. This goes back to late 2018.
Wow.
When we got started with this in earnest in 2019. And so here we are, and we continue to try to understand what our maturing adults at St. Mark need and want, and try to figure out how we can sort of fill those needs that exist. One thing that I did want to mention, we've always had a steering committee. It's been a pretty large group of folks, and what's been determined is it probably would be helpful to us to have a slightly smaller steering committee, and we'll continue to have that. It'll be about 12 people. But we also want to announce an opportunity for people who might have wanted to be involved in MMA, but really weren't into the committees,
meetings,
strategic planning, you know, all the meetings and the regularity of that. So we're creating something called Friends of MMA. Someone has already called it FOMA. I said, well, okay, FOMA, Friends of MMA. Okay, I get it. But these would be people who would like to volunteer, who would like to be of help, but probably have some idea of how much time they'd like to spend or what the specific kinds of projects are that they'd like to be involved in. So this will be our first announcement to the community. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes.
And there'll be things regularly in the bulletin where folks will know how they can contact me or someone else and talk a little bit about what they'd like to do. Some people like very direct service. They'd like to go deliver some spiritual reading material to an individual. Other people like planning dances or other social events. And there are all kinds of opportunities. I won't go into all those right now, but FOMA, Friends of MMA, and we just hope that people will consider the kinds of things that MMA is doing and how they might like to plug into that.
And it'd be nice with people with specific skill sets.
Absolutely.
That they may only use them once or twice a year, but what a great way to do that.
Well, and another thing that we're getting ready to ramp up as the facilities will, as you know as well as anyone, change dramatically here at St. Mark. There are people who know how to paint. There are people who know how to create quilts or some other artistic kind of thing, some hobby, some gift. And this will be an opportunity for those people to take that gift that they've acquired over the years and share it with other people. Someone shared the other day, I'd like to know how to knit. Do you know anyone who knows how to knit? I said, I don't right now, but I'll bet you there's someone in the parish who knows how to knit and would be willing to teach a class. So yeah, Friends of MMA, an opportunity to really make a huge difference in the lives of some of our parishioners.
And then also it's kind of interesting too because you have people that are maybe have been musicians in their earlier lives and a good chance for them to revigorate that and bring that back out.
Well, that's a wonderful point. Music is, it's really amazing as we talk with many of our maturing adults, what role music has played in their life. And you're right, there are people who have a musical instrument sitting in the closet that they used to be highly accomplished at, and they could probably share some of that.
That piano that's there collecting dust.
Absolutely. I've gotten several guitars sitting in the closet, and I really would like to learn how to play guitar. I don't need to become a master anymore. Eric Clapton, I do not need to be, but you know, I'd like to be able to play. So it's unlimited, Rusty, the opportunities that exist for people just to plug in a bit, invest a little bit of their time. We have people who have needs, and we have people who are lonely, who are parishioners right here at St. Mark. And I think we're obligated as Christians and as Catholics to do the best we can to meet those needs and relieve that loneliness just a bit.
And what a great source of of people's leadership skills to be able to think outside the box like this, and to bring other people into the fold that might not have been. So we appreciate you doing that.
Yeah. Well, I think we've done some good work in the past. I think that as we think about the future of our parish, the leadership that's in place here at the parish, the spaces that we're going to have to be able to provide these programs, these services, these activities. Physical exercise is something that a lot of older folks struggle with. So chair aerobics, chair yoga, some other low impact kinds of exercises can really make people feel better both mentally and physically.
Right.
Yeah.
And like you said, you touched on, we'll have this space here shortly.
We'll have the space here shortly.
That's awesome. So I always like, because you come prepared with notes. I like that, because you know where to stay on track in that. So what's some things we have coming up with MMA?
Well, one of the things that we're really, really excited about, 3 years ago now, Pope Francis declared a World Day for grandparents. And we've celebrated that twice here at St. Mark. We got slowed down a little bit with COVID 1 year, but we're ready to celebrate again this year. It's been expanded a bit, and it's now called World Day for Grandparents and the Elderly.
Oh, wow.
So for anyone who is a grandchild, a grandkid, anyone who is a grandparent, or anyone who's over 60 years of age that we consider to be maturing adults, not old, but maturing adults, we're going to have an event. Because of the construction, we're going to be just across the parking lot at O'Reilly Branson. Okay. And they're going to open up their whole space for us. There'll be food and drink. Wow. There will be a photo booth so people can take photos of themselves as a family, grandma and grandpa and grandkid. Perhaps a grandchild who has grandparents who live across the country can take a photo, send it to them. Grandparent has kids living on the East Coast, can take a photo, send it to them. There's going to be face painting for the kids. There's going to be an opportunity for a little bit of carnival feel. We're going to have a coin toss that's going to take place. And there's going to be, I think also, Chris Risch is working on some kind of an intergenerational scavenger hunt. Oh, wow. And because there are obviously some things that the kids know, grandkids know that the adults, seniors don't know, and vice versa. And so we think it's going to be a wonderful day. It's going to be after the 9:30 Mass, starting just a little before 11, and it'll run through 1 o'clock, a little later than that. So, you know, people... What was the date again? It's Sunday, July 23rd. Thanks for asking. No problem. Sunday, July 23rd. Awesome. O'Reilly Branson will sponsor this. It's going to be in their location. We really appreciate this because, as you showed me just a minute ago, Schaefer Hall getting ready to start begins to look a bit different. And so we're really excited to be able to have this again. There'll be posters in the narthex this weekend. There'll be information in the bulletin. And I know eventually Father will continue to speak about this. But it's World Grandparents' Day for grandparents, but also including the elderly this year. That's awesome. Yeah. And I know that we touched on it a little bit ago off camera. We looked at Schaefer Hall, and they're getting ready to, they're on initial stages of remodeling, if no other, Schaefer Hall, repurposing that area. I thought it was interesting, and not a lot of people know this, but the men who were upstairs, they said, do you know, they didn't know the history of us, and it was kind of cool. They said, do you know that used to be a church? I said, I did, because you can see up in the top the rafters and so forth. But what a neat time. I mean, they're wrapping up the construction behind us in the next probably 3 or 4 weeks. We met with, I was part of the crew that met with the landscapers yesterday, which is kind of the final things we're looking at. But it's just such I brought a person out here that's going to be doing some work for us after the fact. And he said, what a great job they're doing, attention to detail. I know. The brickwork and everything. He said, it looks like it's always been here. And I said, that was the whole plan. I find it amazing. In the work that I've done over my life, I've been involved in building projects. We built a lot of buildings over the years. This one amazes me. It looks like this new building between the school and the parish has always been here. It fits wonderfully. Just drop down in there. It just is so wonderful. And then, of course, from an MMA perspective, having this new and renovated space with the lighting and the acoustics and the sound, that will make it a very wonderful place to hold events. And because space was always an issue here. This is a vibrant parish, many ministries, a lot of activity, a very, very flourishing school, thanks in large part to Mr. Albertson. And it's just amazing to me, the sort of the possibilities for the future of what we can accomplish here at this parish.
And what's neat about us is some churches and churches would tear down that and build a new. But we've repurposed it from a church to a gym, now to a meeting space.
To a meeting space, And it's going to be a wonderful meeting space. And just going to provide more opportunities. I know as Chris Risch envisions the future and the ministerial perspective, really coming to deeply understand what the needs of the people are who come into this church every weekend, and then putting ministries in place that can respond to those needs. This is an exciting time for St. Mark.
And we don't talk about it enough, and I think Catholics are this way, but we have an incredible staff here. Ones that are not only knowledgeable about this parish, but have members and bought into this, and see just what you said. They take the time to find out what is needed.
Exactly.
You know, with the music ministries, with Chris, with Al, I mean, I go on and on and on, and everybody. And I think it's just
going to have posters in the narthex this coming weekend. So I sent a very vague concept and some information to Allison Archer in our parish office yesterday, and before I got up this morning, there was something on my phone that she was ready to send to the printer. So just a group.
Be careful what you ask for.
Absolutely. You got to work really hard to stay up with them. And they care deeply about the parish and the people who have their lives affected by what goes on here. So it's a wonderful. You and I know this is a remarkable place, remarkable people, giving people, funding this building. Someone asked me, part of my work when I was still working was raising money. I asked a lot of people for money. I was asked, do you think we could raise the amount of money needed? I said, no, I don't think we can.
I remember the conversation.
And here we are, ready to occupy it. And soon we'll occupy Schaefer Hall. So pretty amazing.
Yep. So you guys have, to switch gears a little bit, I saw out last week in the narthex a bus trip. Tell us a little bit. I know it's getting capacity almost with that, but tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, and there'll continue to be some information, some updates in the bulletin. But one thing maturing adults at St. Mark like to do is have a good time. And one of the things that has been always a big hit is to get on a very nice luxury charter coach, go to a place that has a very significant Catholic opportunity for experience, and usually there's good food involved. So this trip goes down to Jasper, Indiana, St. Joseph Church. It's a remarkable church. Archbishop Beekline, that was his home church when he grew up in Jasper, Indiana. Wonderful Catholic community in southern Indiana. And they've just renovated St. Joseph Church. And it's quite amazing. I've read what they've done to the church, and so we're going to go there and have Mass. We'll load up on a charter coach. This is in August. It's 23rd. It's a Wednesday. And we'll go down and have Mass. And then my last name is Helmich, which is very German. The other side was Dooning, and I hung around with Wiesehans and T. Myers and Schmitz. And we're going to go to the Schnitzelbank restaurant and gift store. And we'll have some schnitzel. And there might even be a cold drink.
You never know.
Of some kind.
Lemonade.
But that's coming up in August. I think Jane and Mike Schwartz, they've put this together. They've done all the coordination and the registration. So keep your eye. There will be information in the bulletin. They registered folks just recently after the masses, and many of the seats are filled.
It's filling up,
So, our St. Markers really enjoy combining a good time with good friends and parishioners, having a Catholic destination, and then, as I said, usually we find good food.
Yeah, and you guys have been to different places, and there's so many around that that people don't even realize what we have here in Indiana and the surrounding areas. So.
Yeah, the shrines are wonderful. Some of the buildings, the Catholic architecture.
St. Meinrad that you've been to.
Yes. Unbelievable, going up to the University of Notre Dame.
Yep.
And being involved there. Just across the river, we were recently at one of the basilicas, just across from Cincinnati. And so yeah, keep your eyes posted for those things. They're wonderful, friend building, spiritual growth. Saying the rosary on the way there is always a part of the
awesome.
Program. And new friendships, old friendships, good time.
Yeah,
good
very
time,
good.
Good time.
What else is coming up?
Well, I really want to make sure that folks know about a Bible study. Suzanne Conklin, who's a member of our steering committee, she is a highly accomplished facilitator. She likes a lot of the work that's been done by Ascension Press,
Right.
one of the big Catholic publishing houses, and she's going to start a study. This is going to begin on September 12th, but she's already accepting registrations. We one time a week, 12:15 to 2 o'clock, and she's going to do a study on the prophets. And the feedback has always been so very positive on a Bible study with Suzanne. The other thing that we're going to really announce here in the next week or so, we're going to do a summer book club for our folks here. And we've got a group of people, they're down to 3 titles that they're looking at that they think would be a good fit. One of them is on prayer, how to deepen one's life in prayer. Matthew Kelly and his colleagues at Dynamic Catholic have put together a wonderful combination of things that relate to being more thoughtful as you mature. How do you grow old
gracefully?
Well? How do you grow old gracefully?
Yeah.
Where your view is that this part of my life is as important and potentially as enjoyable as any other part of my life. And the book is No Regrets, and then there's a workbook that is a wonderful self-study. And then there's another one simply about deepening your Catholic faith, understanding more about your faith, even as a maturing adult. So we'll pick one of those, and then we'll have a sign up. People can let us know if they'd like to be involved. It will be an instance where it'll be mostly self-directed, but there will be one opportunity at the very end to come together and share reflections on the reading of the book. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So we'll announce that in the next week as to which title they're going to go with.
Good, good, very good.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your time. You're a busy man. We appreciate getting a chance to. I know that a lot of our MMA and a lot of our maturing adults in our parish watch the videos. They always tell me when I don't have one up for a while, what am I doing?
Well, you shared with me where St. Mark compares with other, I think they were parishes in the South
Area,
and it wasn't even close.
Yeah, it's amazing that we're up to. I looked the other day, almost getting close to 1,900 followers on our subscribers on our YouTube, and why I say that, I don't say this often enough. If you watch these videos, there's a little subscribe button, and it tells you, and if there's a bell, you ring the bell, it tells you when a new video is coming up. So if you could do that, we appreciate that. But you're always one of the top. You must have a big family because a lot of them must watch this.
Well, there are probably people trying to find something to incriminate me on.
I doubt that.
We caught him on something. But, one of the things, when you have a vibrant, large parish like St. Mark is today, and you have 4 masses, and people go to different masses, and they have different schedules. One of the things that's really challenging is getting the word out, getting the message out. And I think what you've done with these YouTube videos, with providing opportunities for the different ministries, personnel, staff, others to share their story. It's one very important way people are going to find out.
A different avenue that hits different people.
Absolutely.
We have our Facebook crowd, we have our Twitter crowd, we have the YouTube crowd, and then you have the ones that want the bulletin and that kind of stuff. But what's amazing, though, I told Father, we still have an average probably 85 to 90 viewers every 9:30 Mass on YouTube. And I would say, without seeing, I don't get to see the dynamics of that or the data, but some of them I would say are probably not from around here that bought into us at COVID and stick with us.
Yeah, I think that's true. And making sure that we get the technology to some of our seniors Our elders who are at home can't get here easily, shouldn't be here because
Right.
of their health. But I think that it's all, the pieces of this really important puzzle are all there. And
Still coming together.
yeah,
Work in progress.
It's a powerful time to be a Catholic here at St. Mark.
Absolutely. Well, we are blessed to have you and all the other ministries here at St. Mark. Such a blessing. Father Tim and Father John are off for 3 days. They went down. I forget the term that they use, but all the priests are together. Julie will remind me, I forgot what it's called, but they have a thing where
Party?
I don't think that's it. I think they are down at French Lick, though. But he said, I think Father John went last year because he had just gotten here about a year ago. So they're down for 3 days and rejuvenating and through prayer and so forth. But so blessed to have both of them, Deacon Sam, who we had on earlier, Deacon Nick, Deacon Paul. I mean, we are so blessed here to have the staff, support staff, and then obviously lay people such as yourself, Donna Kern, I could go on and on, that help this parish. So.
I tell people, I've gone to a number of parishes over the years. We've lived in different communities as I did different work, and I tried to get involved and sort of knew what was and wasn't happening. This is something very special taking place.
Yeah.
Building a building is always powerful. It's a very strong statement. We're thinking about the future.
Right.
We're not going to coast in.
Right.
We're not going to, sort of put our things on the chair and wait. We're pursuing the future. And this new building, the Schaefer Hall remodel, renovation,
The new entryway.
Oh, the ramps
Yeah.
that are going to make it much more easy
Sure.
for people who have canes, wheelchairs,
Yeah.
and other things to get here. So it's a wonderful time. And,
Yep.
and there's always something that people could do to make someone else's life better. MMA is just one example.
Right.
There are many ministries here. Find the right one where you can share your gifts
Yeah.
and your talents, and you'll make a life better. And it's a wonderful thing.
And it's exciting to the ministries that haven't even been created yet.
Yeah, exactly.
That will be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a need out there that's just starting to get identified, and a group of people will form, and they'll start to respond to that need. And I think that's what we Catholics are
I think so.
supposed to do.
I think so.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Well, we hope everybody has a great week. We're winding down June already. It's getting a couple of weeks. We'll be into the 4th of July. We hope that if you get a chance, come out and as you drive by, take a look at the new facility from the outside. I think we're going to be able to get in that sometime in July. And then of course the big works when the Archbishop comes later on and 75th anniversary. We don't even talk about that very much, but it's just what a great thing. But absolutely, we hope everybody has a great week. We appreciate you watching. If you get a chance, subscribe to our YouTube channel, ring that bell so you can get notifications on upcoming videos, and we will talk with you soon. Peace, everybody.
Thank you.